Can't talk in here, folks. Like I said.
I know someone.
All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This honorable court is open pursuant to adjournment. The Honorable William T. McGinty presiding.
You may be seated. Afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
So, before I proceed with sentencing, I would like to thank all the spectators that have been present during this trial. I know there have been family members of the victim, Meshack Cornwall, as well as for the defendant, Shakira Graham. I know that has been extremely difficult for the families during the past 2 weeks. However, as I indicated to the jury last week about their service, we live in an incredible country where decisions can be made in a courtroom based upon reason and common sense and not with violence. I believe everyone that has come to this courtroom has observed the requisite solemnity and respect deserving of the flags behind me. I trust it will continue today. The procedure we will follow here today will go as follows. After I go over some instructions right here, the state of Ohio will present victim impact testimony and any position on sentencing. The defendant's counsel will be given the opportunity to address the court, and lastly, Shakira Graham will be given the opportunity to address the court prior to the imposition of sentence. Just a brief review that the defendant was arrested for aggravated murder on February the 14th, 2019. The defendant was indicted for that murder on March 8th, 2019 and was arraigned on March 13th. Trial commenced on February the 18th, 2020. The jury received the case on Thursday, February 27th and returned its verdict in open court on Friday, February 28th. The defendant was found guilty of all charges of the indictment with the exception that in count 1 of the indictment, wherein the defendant was found guilty of the lesser included offense of murder in violation of 2903.02a. Furthermore, the defendant was found guilty of all the specifications which we refer to as gun specifications under 2941.14a and 2941.15a. The 1 and 3 year gun specifications that were contained in counts 1 through 7. The court is of the opinion that counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, pause right here. This is one of those blink and you miss it legal moments that actually matters a lot. When the judge says allied offenses of similar import, he's talking about charges that come from the same conduct. Translation: the court can't stack punishments for the same criminal act over and over. The prosecutor has to pick which charge carries the sentence. This isn't leniency, it's constitutional protection against double punishment. And make no mistake, this decision quietly shapes how severe the final sentence can be.
5 and 6 are allied offenses of similar import, and that the prosecutor will have to elect which crime to be sentenced under. The court believes that counts 7 for grand theft and count 8 for receiving stolen property are not allied offenses of similar import. And Mr. Prosecutor, do you have which one you're going to be sentenced under?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we would agree with the court's position. We do believe that counts 1 through 6 are allied offenses. And based on this fact, Your Honor, we would be asking this court to sentence the defendant, Ms. Graham, to count 2 aggravated murder.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, so before imposing sentence, Ms. Graham, I would note for the record that I will be considering the following at this hearing today. The record that has been made during the course of this trial and all proceedings, the oral statements that will be made in open court here today, the plea negotiations or the lack thereof, the victim impact statements, and any other information that I received during the course of this sentencing hearing. The court must and will formulate its decision based upon the overriding principles and purposes of felony sentencing, namely to protect the public from future crime by the defendant or others, and to punish the offender using the minimum sanctions that the court determines will accomplish those purposes without imposing an unnecessary burden on the state or local government resources. To achieve these purposes, the court has considered the need for incapacitation, deterrence, rehabilitation, and providing for restitution. The court must and has also considered the seriousness and recidivism factors pursuant to the offense and the offender pursuant to 292912 of the revised code. The court must and will ensure that the sentence being imposed does not demean the seriousness of the crime and the impact it has on the victim, and is consistent with other similar offenses committed by like offenders. Finally, the sentence is not based upon any impermissible purposes, namely the race, ethnic background, gender, or religion of Ms. Graham. Ms. Graham, do you understand everything I said so far?
Yes,
Okay. Further, Ms. Graham, you may be eligible for earned days of credit under the circumstances specified under 2967.193. To earn credit is not automatic. You may only do so by productive participation in educational, vocational, and/or substance abuse treatment programs and/or prison industrial employment of up to 8% of your stated prison terms. Post-release control notifications pursuant to counts 7 and 8. Post-release control will be a part of your sentence on counts numbers 7 and 8, and it's a discretionary period not to exceed more than 3 years. That means that the adult parole authority will determine if they want you on that particular reporting. Ms. Graham, if you should violate the terms and conditions of that post-release control, the parole board may conduct a hearing, and at the conclusion of the hearing, the adult parole authority could return you to prison for up to 1/2 of the originally stated sentence for that charge. Do you understand that? Furthermore, should you fail to report to your parole officer while on post-release control, you could be indicted by the grand jury for the crime of escape. Furthermore, if you should commit any felony while on post-release control, at the conclusion of the case, either by trial or plea, the sentencing judge for the new case would have the option of sentencing you to an additional 1-year sentence or what time remains on your unused supervision time consecutive to that new original sentence. Do you understand that? Okay. So at this time right here, I will turn it over to the State of Ohio for any presentation that they may have. Okay?
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, at this time, the state is going to be called for Meshach Cornwall's mother, Jacqueline Harrigan, who would like to address the court.
Okay. Come forward.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
This is where the courtroom energy shifts hard. What comes next isn't evidence, it isn't legal argument, it's impact. Victim impact statements don't decide guilt, but they absolutely influence sentencing. Judges are human, they listen, and when a parent speaks about loss, the law stops being abstract. The numbers, statutes, and procedures fade, and what's left is consequence. Brace yourself, because this is the emotional core of the entire proceeding.
And for purposes of the record, would you please state your name, spell your last name for the record?
Jacqueline Harrigan, Harrigan. On December 17th, I boarded a plane at 8 o'clock. My life was fine. I got off that plane around 9:30, December 17th. My life was fine. I put my keys in my side door, and as I entered my home, I found my 27-year-old son at the bottom of the stairs. That was the impact that affected my life until this very day, until the day I die. Meshach, I was blessed to be Meshach's mom. He was the best thing that ever happened to me. People always used to compliment me about how wonderful my son was. He never gave me no problems, Your Honor, besides a speeding ticket or going to traffic court. You understand me? I had a wonderful son. He loved his mother. We had a good relationship. Meshach was loving and Meshach was kind. He loved to laugh. He enjoyed going to work. He's the only person I know loved going to work. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and all he kept asking the doctor is, when are you going to relieve me to go to work? The doctor said, you're the only person I know who want to go to work. Most people ask me for days off. You asking me to go to work. That's how committed he was to his job. He enjoyed playing his PlayStation. He enjoyed computers. He enjoyed eating pizza. He enjoyed drinking different beers. I got turned on to Great Lake beer because of my son. Every year a flavor come out, he brought it to the house. Our family is very small, Your Honor. My mother only had 4 kids. There's only 3 of us left. Me and my sister only had 1 child apiece. I lost my son on December 17th. He never forgot a birthday. He never forgot a Christmas. He never forgot a Mother's Day. He gave the best gift. My son was getting his credit together. He wanted to buy a house in a couple of years. Your Honor, my life right now is filled with sorrow, pain, an everlasting yearning for what I could never have back. I sat here for 2 weeks and my heart grieved for this young lady, even though she took my son away, because she is just so foolish and ignorant to waste her life and to take my son's life. And for what? A PlayStation, some weed, a liquor, 2 guns. I mean, how long did that last her? A day? Come on now, they said they threw her out the hotel the next day. So how long did that money last her? She took my son's life, Your Honor. I am asking the court to give this young lady the harshest penalty you can give her for taking my 27-year-old son. That's all I have to say, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I think Mom is the only one that is going to end up speaking. Judge, I think, I said this to the jury, and it always, I get reminded of it again when we come in here. So often we're worried about what the law is and how long somebody's going to go to prison and gun specification and allied offenses, and we forget about the impact that this has on the people around our victims. A mother should never have to bury her son, and you know, sometimes it is somebody's time, somebody's sick or somebody is ailing. This was a nonsense, clueless crime that happened for no reason. I know before this trial met, I sat and I talked with Ms. Harrigan and her nephew. Her nephew was there when Meshach was found, and as we were going through this, I remember this, and he said, Meshach, if she wanted the stuff, he would have just given it to her. Because that's the kind of guy he was. He wasn't a violent man. He worked, he liked to play video games, and he was conned. You see the text messages, Judge, and I'm not going to relitigate the case here, but it was clear that he was conned into believing that the relationship that he had with Ms. Graham was more than what it actually was. He was a mark, he was set up. And when she came to his house that night, she knew what she was there to do. And I don't know what led to him dying that night, but I know that certainly she was the one that did it. And I know that for what she got to take his life was just absolute nonsense. So often, Judge, when we sit here in front of you, we're asking you to do or to give a sentence that is for however many years, and we don't know a lot about the defendant or what happened there. You had the opportunity, Judge, to see every single piece of this, to sit and listen to every piece of evidence and see how it pointed to her piece by piece by piece, and how the other people that were alleged to be involved were eliminated based on DNA and cell phones and text messages and all of those things. But the biggest thing that I walked away from this case, Judge, and the biggest reason that I want you to impose a sentence that shows her just how useless and nonsensical her actions were, was a statement that she made during her hour and 15-minute statement that was littered with lies and inconsistencies. And it's very rare, Judge, that we get to say it and we have proof of it when we say that a defendant has showed no remorse. And in that hour and 15-minute statement, Judge, the one thing that kept popping up to me and kept being repeated to me were the lines that she stated, "I don't know how to feel sad. I just met him." That was how much he was worth to her. That's how much his life was worth to her, that she didn't know how to feel sad because she just met him. Judge, Ms. Graham is a felon. She has a history of attempted robbery. She has a history of failure to comply with police officers. She's been sent to prison before, and this court has the opportunity to make sure that she never has the opportunity to do the things that she did to Meshach again. Ms. Graham is going to go to prison for life. Her sentencing range is going to be anywhere from 23 to life without the possibility of parole, with 3 years for the gun specification. I would ask you, Judge, to remember what you heard here, remember the legacy that Meshach left, and remember the pain that the family will be in for the rest of their life when you impose your sentence. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Sims.
Your Honor, may it please the court, on behalf of Ms. Graham, we are sorry about what happened to Meshach. We are sorry that that day happened. Your Honor, and as we sit here at different ends of the table, we sit here at different tables because we see the case differently. As Ms. Graham sits here today, she, again, is still insisting, Your Honor, upon her innocence in this case. And I think one of the things that the state of Ohio mentioned the text messages. And if you recall the text messages between her and Meshach back and forth, you saw the caring they had for each other. Judge, you sat there and you saw it yourself. Again, the jury saw it a different way. Judge, I think that the jury lost their way, in my opinion, but that was the verdict. That's how we work. We live with the verdict given us by the jury. We don't always agree with the verdict, but that was their verdict. And again, Judge, she's very sorry and compassionate, and wish that day never happened to someone that she really cared about. And Judge, again, she has a very modest criminal history, as you know, and we know certain sentences in this case, such as this case, are statutory, and she understands she's looking at a life sentence, Judge. But again, she has indicated to me she vows to appeal her sentence in this matter, Judge, and she vows to not stop fighting until she wins her innocence in this matter. And at this point, Judge, we throw ourselves upon the mercy of this court. I think her dad would like to say a few words, and then Shakira would say a few words. Okay. If that's appropriate, Judge. Okay. Sir, you want to come forward? Yeah, come on, me, please. Okay, yeah. State your name for the record, please.
My name is Colonel Graham. Last name
Relationship to Shakira, please.
Graham. Graham. I'm Shakira's father. Thank you, Judge, for letting me address the court. I appreciate the way in which you conducted this court. I sat here too for 2 weeks. I'm Shakira's father. Her mother's also present in the courtroom, along with her stepmother and also other members of our family. I do apologize. I do want to express my sympathy to Ms. Harrington in the death of her son. I want to say simply, as I sat here, I want you to know I've been a pastor. I'm a United Methodist pastor. and I've served in that capacity for 34 years. Her mother's also a pastor. In my 34 years as a pastor, on 9 occasions, I have stood with families and I've eulogized their family members that have been murdered, many who are unsolved. One of the persons in the courtroom today who has been here is Sister Denise McCrae. Her son, 29 years old, murdered in Cincinnati. I eulogized her son. Just in January, I eulogized the son of a friend who was Shakira's age in Akron, Ohio, killed on New Year's Eve. My daughter was raised in a home with pastors. She was taught right from wrong. It is my full belief I accept the decision of the court. But as her father, as someone who knows her, I do not believe that my daughter committed the act that she has been convicted of. I simply ask, Judge, that you would use your discretion as you have in her sentencing. She has 2 small children at home, and I know that you are required by law to do what you must do. I will pray for her. I will pray for this family. And I pray that all will somehow find healing, and I pray for a day of justice. I pray that somehow the person who committed the act will be found. In the meantime, the court has spoken, and I pray that you would just show leniency, that one day my daughter may be able to embrace her 2 young children who await her at home. I thank you for allowing me to address this court, and I pray, again, I just pray for all of those impacted by what has happened, the death of this young man. Thank you for letting me address the court.
Your Honor, Shakira Graham, like to say a few words.
Okay. Ms. Graham?
You want to stand where you are? I didn't see it, yeah. Yeah, could you, right here. Can you get up? Thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to first thank you for the part that you played and partake in seeking justice. I would like to thank everybody who seeks justice. And I would like to express my condolences to Bishop's family. I would also like to acknowledge that I did not come to trial as a self-possessed murderer seeking to be found not guilty and killed as a murderer. While I came to trial to fight for my innocence, and I'm sorry for what happened to me, but I will continue to fight for my innocence. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Your Honor, can this now, not the appropriate time or not, but I would like to, just before I forget to do it, I'd like to move the court, Your Honor, to, because as she sits here, she is, of course, indigent, and I'd like the court to consider waiving all fines and costs, and as well as, if you could put in the journal entry for her to be evaluated for any mental health issues that she have or may have, and that she received the appropriate treatment for those issues while she's in the confines of the state of Ohio. And again, that should be given credit for all day served.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So we're here again in case number 637307, State of Ohio versus Shakira Graham. In count 2 of the indictment, it is the sentence of this court for the aggravated murder of Meshack Cornwell that the defendant is sentenced to the Ohio Reformatory for Women for a term of life imprisonment with parole eligibility.
And there it is. Life with parole eligibility after 25 years, plus mandatory time for the firearm specification. This is the legal system drawing a hard line. Punishment, protection of the public, and deterrence, all wrapped into one sentence. Parole eligibility doesn't mean release. It means review. 25 years from now, another panel decides whether rehabilitation outweighs the harm done here. Until then, this verdict closes one chapter for the court, but for the families involved, the consequences echo indefinitely. So here's the question that lingers. Does justice ever truly feel complete in cases like this?
After serving 25 years in prison. The defendant is sentenced to a 3-year term of imprisonment pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 2941.145A prior to and consecutive to the commencement of a life sentence. As to count 7, grand theft, a felony of the 4th degree, the defendant is sentenced to a term of 18 months at the Ohio Reformatory for Women. As to count 8, receiving stolen property, the defendant is sentenced to a term of 18 months at the Ohio Reformatory for Women. The sentence shall run concurrent to one another and concurrent to count 2 of the indictment. The defendant shall be given the time served in the amount of 373 days. Mr. Carrigram, it is my duty to inform you of your appellate rights that you possess here today pursuant to Ohio Criminal Rule 32B. This is notification of your right to appeal pursuant to this rule. Since you have been found guilty and sentenced to prison, you have a mandatory right to appeal. As indicated by your lawyer and with your statement of it, are you unable to pay the costs of the appeal? Okay. Then counsel will be appointed for you without cost. That if you are you unable to pay the cost of documents necessary to appeal?
Yes.
The documents will be provided without cost. The defendant has right to have a notice of appeal timely filed on her behalf. And that would be your last duty, Mr. Sims, to have that notice of appeal filed?
Your Honor, that will be filed this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Therefore, then, we will order that the transcript be provided at state's cost, and counsel will be appointed and will be in either today's journal entry or by the end of the week. Anything further from the state of Ohio?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything further from the defendant?
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay.
Nothing
We'll be
further.
adjourned then.
All rise.